Wildcard. The 7th of May 10. BIC is trying to change its aging image to sleek and sporty, and the Regal Sportback is a step in the right direction. It looks good, goes down the road competently, and is relatively affordable. It might not be much fun to drive, but that's par for the course in this segment. Performance-minded buyers can choose the sportier Regal Sportback GS anyway. Which Regal Sportback does Edmunds recommend? The base Regal 1SV is attractively priced but is hard to find on dealer lots. For all intents and purposes, the preferred is the true starting trim, and it does have a handful of noteworthy additions. But the options list is limited, and if you're cross-shopping the BIC against luxury rivals, you might want additional choices. We think the Essence is the way to go. Not only do you get real leather upholstery and a few practical upgrades, but the Essence also opens the door to an expanded list of packages. Consider the Driver Confidence I package, required if you want a blind spot monitor, and possibly the Driver Confidence 2 package, if adaptive cruise control is on your must-have list. 2020 BIC Regal Sportback models. The 2020 BIC Regal Sportback is a mid-size sedan with a hatchback-style liftgate. It's sold in 5 trim levels: Regal, 1SV, Preferred, Essence, Arvani and GS. The base 1SV and the Preferred are attractively priced but don't come with a ton of features, so you'll need to upgrade to the more expensive trims for more premium comfort and safety equipment. Most Regal Sportbacks are driven by a turbocharged 2.0-litre 4-cylinder that produces 250 horsepower. Regals with this engine and front-wheel drive have a torque output of 260 pound-foot and come with a 9-speed automatic transmission. All-wheel drive models make 295 pound-foot of torque and use an 8-speed automatic. The sporty GS is the outlier. It's powered by a 3.6-litre V6, 310 horsepower, 282 pound-foot, that drives all 4 wheels via a 9-speed automatic. The Regal 1SV comes standard with 17-inch wheels, automatic headlights, heated mirrors, keyless entry and ignition, dual-zone climate control, rear air vents, a height-adjustable driver's seat, 60/40 split folding rear seats, OnStar, with a 4G LTE connection and Wi-Fi hotspot, a 7-inch touchscreen interface, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration, 3 USB ports, and a 7-speaker sound system. Moving up to the Preferred adds a power-adjustable driver's seat, a height-adjustable passenger seat, an auto-dimming rear-view mirror and a leather-wrapped steering wheel. On top of the Preferred's equipment, the Essence includes 18-inch wheels, fog lights, remote engine start, an upgraded driver information screen, leather upholstery, a heated steering wheel, heated front seats, a power-adjustable passenger seat, 40/20/40 split rear seats, an air ionizer, an 8-inch touchscreen, and satellite radio. The new ST Appearance package adds glossy black wheels, a black grille and a rear spoiler. Preferred and Essence trims are available with 2 significant option packages. Driver Confidence I adds LED headlights, rear parking sensors, and a blind spot monitor with rear cross-traffic alert. There are also a few unique features for each trim. The Preferred uses 18-inch wheels, while the Essence version adds auto-dimming mirrors, a wireless charging pad, driver seat memory settings, and 4-way lumbar adjustment for both front seats. There's also the Sights and Sounds package, which includes a navigation system and an 8-speaker Bose audio system with HD radio. The Preferred's version also adds remote engine start, the 8-inch touch screen, upgraded driver information screen and satellite radio. Taking the Essence and adding unique interior and exterior elements equals the Arvani. Upgrades include quilted stitched leather seating surfaces and 19-inch wheels. Also standard are the aforementioned Driver Confidence I package and Sights and Sounds package. Oddly, this top trim car is only available in front-wheel drive. The available Driver Confidence 2 package is available on Essence and Arvani trims. It adds advanced driver aids, including adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and forward collision warning with automatic emergency braking and pedestrian detection. For a sportier take, there's the Regal Sportback GS. It comes with the V6, a sport-tuned suspension with adaptive dampers, 19-inch wheels, Brembo brakes, a rear spoiler, front and rear parking sensors, a digital instrument panel, a flat-bottom steering wheel, and sport seats with memory settings, Ventilation and massage functions. Standard and optional feature content are similar to the Essences. The 2022 Acura ILX is a small luxury sedan and it's currently the smallest vehicle that Acura makes. It also happens to be its oldest. This ILX generation came out for 2013 and hasn't gotten a full redesign since. In automotive terms, this is an eternity. Compared to rivals such as the Audi A3, Genesis G70 and Mercedes A-Class, the ILX suffers from outdated technology features, a less than luxurious interior design and disappointing performance. It's priced competitively, but that's about it. Also know that Acura has announced the return of its small sporty sedan, the Integra. We wouldn't be surprised if it replaces the ILX for 2023. But if you're set on the ILX, check out our team's expert rating below to get all the details. Performance 6.0 10. How does the ILX drive? Overall, the ILX is underwhelming to drive. Acceleration is sluggish, and you really have to dip into the gas before it picks up. Passing on the highway and accelerating on an on-ramp are fine, but a step or two behind what you experience in the class leaders. Performance from the brakes and steering are equally lackluster. Emergency braking distances are also longer than average. The ILX improves when experienced at a higher pace, with relatively agile handling. There's a moderate amount of body roll, but the ILX works with it and feels mostly composed. Better tires could go a long way since the standard all-season rubber doesn't match what the ILX feels like it could deliver. The dual-clutch transmission is a high point, with quick, smooth shifts and none of the low-speed lurching you'll find in less refined transmissions. Comfort, the 6th of May 10. How comfortable is the ILX? The ILX doesn't meet our standards for how comfortable a luxury car should be. The driver's seat is comfortable enough, with decent bolstering and soft cushions, but it lacks the same level of adjustment you'll find in competitors. The cushions only go so far to smooth out the ILX's less than stellar ride. It feels a bit too firm all the time. While that quality helps the car feel sporty and nimble, it also means the ILX crashes over bumps. The cabin is also just too loud. The idle is rough, and the buzzy engine's exhaust note never goes away. There's also a good bit of wind and road noise, especially at highway speeds. You just don't get the same level of isolation you do in other cars in this class. Interior, the 6th of May 10. How's the interior? Acura's two-screen infotainment system is disappointing. It's unclear what information gets sent to which display without pulling out the menu, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay appear on the top non-touchscreen display. The menus aren't intuitive to navigate, and overall it's several steps behind the class leaders. Controls not linked to the infotainment system are much better. They're easy to read and reach, and most major systems have dedicated buttons. The relatively roomy interior is let down by a driver's seat that won't go down far enough. On more than one occasion, one of our test drivers hit his head on the roof when driving over large bumps. Otherwise, there is ample legroom and shoulder room, and backseat passengers won't feel confined or compressed. The view out of the ILX is also fine, with large windows and relatively thin windshield pillars. Technology 6.0 10. How's the tech? The ILX is way behind the times in terms of tech. The infotainment system is the same one you found in Honda and Acura products 5 or so years ago and hasn't been updated since. The two-screen setup is frustrating to use. The audio quality is fine for audiobooks and podcasts but lacks pop when playing music. Likewise, the ILX's driver aids feel a generation behind the leaders. The system is cautious and unrefined, sending up false readings on multiple occasions. The adaptive cruise control leaves large gaps and doesn't work below 20 miles per hour, a major knock since that's when these systems are often most useful. Storage, the 6th of May 10. How's the storage? The ILX's storage is a mixed bag. Most modern small sedans have places to hold a phone and door pockets large enough to store a bottle of water or two. The ILX does not. The center console is a decent size, but the bin in front of the shifter is small and the front door pockets are narrow. The rear lacks pockets altogether. The 12.4 cubic foot trunk is a nice size and roomier than the trunks of cars such as the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, but the trunk hinge design cuts into overall storage. Things are a bit more sunny when it comes to installing child safety seats. The rear doors open relatively wide, and there's a decent amount of space. Larger rear-facing seats might be a tight fit, but that's not unusual for vehicles in this class. The outboard rear seats both have car seat anchors that are relatively easy to access. Fuel economy, the 8th of May 10. How's the fuel economy? The EPA estimates the Acura ILX gets 28 miles per gallon in combined city or highway driving. We managed an impressive 33.3 miles per gallon on our evaluation route. That's as good as or better than just about every other entry-level luxury sedan. Value 8.0 or 10. Is the ILX a good value? The ILX is priced significantly less than its rivals. It's not lacking features either. There's also a decent suite of standard driver aids such as adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. It isn't quite as premium as other luxury sedans in interior quality, but it's a step up from what you'll find in most cars at this price point. The warranty coverage is typical. Acura offers a 4-year 50,000 limited warranty and a 6-year 70,000 powertrain warranty. You also get 4 years of 50,000 miles of roadside assistance, though there's no included maintenance as you'll find with some rivals. Wildcard, the 6th of May 10. The ILX looks sharp. The design is handsome without feeling overdone, and there are obvious connections to Acura's other models, including the NSX. The interior too looks pretty good, though it's not quite as good looking as the exterior. Unfortunately, it's not quite as good to drive as it looks. The ILX shares some mechanical bits with the old Honda Civic Si, including the 201 horsepower 2.4-liter engine. The issue is that the power is all at the top end, so you really have to work to get peak performance. And while the chassis feels pretty nimble, the lifeless steering dampens much of the fun. Which ILX does Edmunds recommend? We recommend the optional premium package for any ILX. The base ILX doesn't get smartphone connectivity via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but the premium package adds that functionality. It also gets sport front seats, an upgraded stereo, a blind spot monitoring system and rear cross traffic alert, features that are missing from the base ILX. Acura ILX models. The 2022 Acura ILX starts with a reasonably well-equipped base trim level and offers 3 major upgrade packages: Premium, A-Spec and Technology. All trim levels use a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine, 201 horsepower. 180 pound-foot of torque, paired with an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission that sends power to the front wheels. Base. Standard features on the base ILX include LED headlights, sunroof, simulated leather upholstery, dual-zone automatic climate control, heated front seats, Bluetooth streaming audio and a 6-speaker sound system. Standard safety equipment includes forward collision warning, alerts you of a possible collision with the car in front. Collision mitigation braking, applies the brakes automatically to stop the vehicle to avoid or minimize a collision. Lane departure warning, alerts you if the vehicle begins to drift out of its lane. Lane departure mitigation, warns you of a lane departure when a turn signal isn't used and can automatically steer to maintain lane position. Adaptive cruise control, maintains a driver-set distance between the Acura and the car in front. Premium. The first of the ILX's available packages, the Premium adds sport seats with leather upholstery, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability, 7-speaker sound system with satellite and HD radio. Blind spot monitor, alerts you if a vehicle in the next lane over is in your blind spot. Rear cross traffic alert, warns you if a vehicle behind you is about to cross your vehicle's path while you're in reverse. A-Spec. Gives the ILX a bit of cosmetic flair by adding 18-inch wheels and high-performance tires. LED fog lights. Unique front grille and black bumper accents. Rear spoiler. Exclusive paint color options. perforated leather upholstery and contrasting interior stitching. Stainless steel sport pedals. Technology. Has the features from the Premium and A-Spec Plus. Navigation. 10-speaker sound system. Acura's connected services. The 2019 BIC Cascadia has sharp looks and rides on massive 20-inch wheels, but it's fundamentally an outclassed vehicle that is down in comfort, performance and efficiency compared to other 4-seat convertible models. At a rated 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque, the Cascadia's turbocharged 1.6-litre 4-cylinder engine makes good power. But its 6-speed automatic transmission is sluggish to shift, and the car is heavy. The combination results in tepid acceleration. To keep up with traffic, you'll always be on the gas, which also hurts its efficiency. It's a disappointing experience on the inside, too. While the Cascadia's infotainment system comes with navigation and a 4G LTE connection, and is compatible with Siri Eyes Free, its center console is button-laden. And it doesn't feature Apple CarPlay or Android Auto like other BIC models. If you're dead set on the looks or the price, the Cascadia isn't necessarily a bad car. But there are other convertibles, such as the BMW 2 Series convertible, Ford Mustang and Mini Cooper convertible, that are more modern and offer higher efficiency, better handling, and more technology for similar, or not much more, money. Edmunds Expert Rating. 5.6 out of 10. The 2019 BIC Cascadia is a 4-seat convertible that tries to be both practical and comfortable. Unfortunately, it comes up short on technology and performance. Overall, you'll likely be happier with a rival convertible. Trim tested. Each vehicle typically comes in multiple versions that are fundamentally similar. The ratings in this review are based on our full test of the BIC Cascadia Sport Touring Red Sport Turbo 1.6L inline for 6-speed automatic FWD. Driving. 5.5. It's heavy, underpowered and saddled with an indecisive transmission. As such, the Cascadia is slow, and the numb steering and poor handling don't inspire confidence. The brake pedal feel is a high point, but poor braking performance undermines that. This car is clearly designed for cruising. Acceleration. 5.0. The engine is lackadaisical until it's high in the RPM range, where it sadly sounds unhappy. The transmission is too eager to change gears, making gas pedal modulation more difficult than it should be. Our tested 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 9.1 seconds makes the Cascadia one of the slower cars on the road. Braking. 7.0. The firm and responsive brake pedal offers a good amount of feedback and is undoubtedly the Cascadia's strongest dynamic feature. The car remains stable, even during panic stops. Unfortunately, we measured a longer than average stopping distance for this class. Steering. 6.0. While the steering is precise, it lacks a natural buildup of resistance as you turn the wheel, and it has almost no useful feedback. This makes it hard to judge what's happening at the front wheels and to trust what limited capabilities this car has. Handling. 5.0. There's generous body roll in turns. The Cascadia's SUV-like 4,000-pound curb weight coupled with its other dynamic shortcomings conspire to make this a car that is neither capable nor confidence-inspiring. It approaches its limits rapidly and with little warning. Drivability. 5.5. Even on flat roads, the transmission is almost always hunting, grabbing a higher gear the moment you ease up, then downshifting when you ask for even a little bit of power. It's also difficult to judge where the corners of the car are, which makes maneuvering in tight spaces a challenge. Comfort. 7.0. The Cascadia's top does a good job of insulating the cabin, and the seats accommodate a range of body types, though they start to wear on long drives. The ride quality is also poor, especially at the price. We appreciate that the climate control relies on buttons, but the layout isn't very intuitive. Seat comfort. 7.0. The seats are shaped to accommodate a number of body types, but they are a bit flat and firm, which means they don't do very much to improve ride comfort. On longer drives, we also found ourselves fidgeting as the seats got a little swampy, the stiffness begins to wear on you after a while. Ride comfort. 6.0. The Cascader manages to mitigate larger impacts, but the overall ride feels far too stiff-legged and busy. Even on relatively smooth pavement, you feel every imperfection. It's not harsh, but it also isn't pleasant, and it feels surprisingly downmarket considering our tester's price. Noise and vibration. 7.5. The noise insulation is good for a convertible, with the soft top doing a good job of keeping out the sound of traffic. There's noticeable wind, road, and tire noise, but it's on par with what we'd expect from this class. Climate control. 7.0. The climate control system works well, managing cabin temperature nicely. While we appreciate tactile interfaces, there are quite a few buttons, and they're not all sensibly organized. There is a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, it's a straightforward system. Interior. 6.0. We appreciate the comfortable seating position and well-insulated soft top, but many of the controls are illogically organized, and the touchscreen is outdated and difficult to reach. The high belt line and short windscreen hurt visibility and make the car feel small inside. Ease of use. 5.5. The steering wheel controls are easy to learn, but beyond that the Cascader has issues. The recessed touchscreen requires leaning out of your seat to reach it, and the interface is dated and not streamlined. The many buttons on the center stack are not logically organized and take a while to master. Getting in and getting out. 6.5. The high front seats for a convertible are a promising start for easy entry and exit. But there's a surprisingly high and wide stepover. Overall, getting in and out in moderately tight parking spaces can be difficult. Accessing the rear seats is a real squeeze. Driving position. 6.5. Longer-legged drivers might wish for more steering wheel telescope, but the primary controls are within easy reach and the position is comfortable. But the driver sits very low relative to the dash and the belt line, which hurts visibility and feels claustrophobic. Roominess. 6.5. The car feels small inside, especially with the low front windshield that adds to the feeling of closeness even with the top down. Front passengers have enough space, but rear head and legroom are too restrictive for most adults, and the removable wind blocker renders the rear seat unusable. Visibility. 5.0. With the top up, rear visibility is impaired because of the small rear window. It's also hard to tell where the front end and the corners of the car are. The small side mirrors, poor overall visibility and lack of blind spot monitoring complicate lane changes. Quality. 5.5. We were disappointed to note a number of creaks and squeaks from around the cabin while driving, since our tester showed less than 2,000 miles on the odometer. There's also quite a lot of hard plastic around the interior, though the touch points are mostly padded or covered in soft touch material. Convertible top. The Cascader's top is well insulated against both sound and temperature, and it can be operated at speeds up to 25 miles per hour. However, it takes about 17 seconds to operate, which makes it one of the slower power tops on the market. Utility. 6.5. The Cascader offers some of the utility of a compact car, but only as long as you're willing to forego using the convertible top. Unfortunately, it lacks many of the clever storage solutions commonly found in newer vehicles. The manual trunk partition that allows the top to work is not convenient. Small item storage. 7.0. The door pockets are made to fit water bottles, and the car also has a sort of phone cubby tray and standard cup holders. The center console box and glove box are relatively small. The Cascader straddles two segments, and for a convertible the storage isn't bad, but for a small car it's lacking. Cargo space. 7.0. There's a manually folding partition in the trunk that must be in place to lower the top. With the top disabled, the 13.4 cubic foot trunk is average for a small car, but the trunk opening is small. With the partition in place, the usable cargo space drops to about average for a small convertible. Child safety seat accommodation. 6.0. The rear outboard seats offer latch anchors, but access is difficult because the front seats don't leave much space and have a tendency to move back if not held in place. With the top up, situating a child seat would require some contortions, but it's possible. Technology 5.0. The Cascader's technology is notably outdated, with a clunky navigation interface, poor smartphone integration and frustrating voice controls. It also lacks most of the driver aids that are common in cars at its price point. Audio and navigation 6.0. The sound quality is okay for a premium vehicle but nothing more. The navigation system has quite a few features, but using them is an exercise in patience. Voice commands can be hit or miss, and using the screen interface isn't a straightforward process. The system looks and feels dated. Smartphone integration 4.0. The Cascader has Bluetooth but doesn't support Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. With only one USB port, charging and USB music options are limited, and the USB interface is poorly optimized. The audio system switches to USB anytime a device is plugged in, a minor but persistent irritation. Driver aids 5.0. The Cascader has forward collision alert and some very loud forward and rear proximity sensors, but no driver aids or active safety features beyond that. There is a rear view camera, but it's low to the ground and presents an awkward and low-resolution view. At this price, we expect more. Voice control 5.0. The voice controls are very particular about phrasing and procedure, which can make them frustrating to work through. There are spoken prompts, but no on-screen guide. In fact, the voice system prompts you to check the manual for a full list of commands. It's another system that feels outdated. Which Cascader does Edmunds recommend? 4-seat convertibles are pricey affairs, so opt for the Cascader 1 SV, its base trim. You're only losing out on fancy trim and colors, but you get the same powertrain, flashy 20-inch wheels, navigation system, and advanced driver assist systems. This makes it one of the best-equipped convertibles for the segment. 2019 BIC Cascader models. The 2019 BIC Cascader convertible is offered in 3 trim levels: Base, 1SV, Premium and Sport Touring. All trims come with largely the same equipment, with the Premium receiving a handful of upgrades and the Sport Touring primarily incorporating an appearance package. Powering all versions is a turbocharged 1.6-litre 4-cylinder engine that produces 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of torque. It drives the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Standard equipment for the base Cascader includes 20-inch alloy wheels, a power-operated convertible soft top, adaptive xenon headlights, LED daytime running lights and tail lights, heated mirrors, rear parking sensors and remote engine start. Inside, you'll find dual-zone automatic climate control, leather upholstery, power-adjustable and heated front seats, 50/50th split folding rear seats, a heated tilt and telescoping steering wheel, a 7-inch touchscreen display, voice controls, a rear-view camera, OnStar with 4G LTE and a Wi-Fi hotspot, and a 7-speaker sound system with a CD player, satellite radio and a USB media interface. The Cascader Premium adds fog lights, automatic wipers, automatic headlights, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, front and rear parking sensors, air deflectors for the front and rear seats, and a navigation system. Step up to the new Sport Touring trim and you get a unique paint color and distinctive alloy wheels, special black interior trim and a flat-bottom steering wheel. 2020 BIC Regal Tourex Review. Overview. If you're not attached to the high seating position of a crossover SUV but you like the idea of having SUV-like cargo space, in other words, if you're a little eccentric, then you'll probably love the 2020 BIC Regal Tourex. It, too, is a little eccentric. The Touarex's biggest strength is the massive size of its cargo hold. It outsizes what you get from a lot of SUVs as well as European luxury wagons such as the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Other advantages include affordable pricing and a modest but classy interior design. With standard all-wheel drive, BIC's Regal Tourex is a great all-weather vehicle. But if your driving requires even moderate off-road use, the Tourex isn't the best choice. It's slightly lifted, but taking on a smooth dirt road is probably the extent of its off-road capability. And though its cargo space is massive, space for passengers is only on par with most mid-size sedans. The Subaru Outback is the obvious rival to the Touareg. The fully redesigned 2020 model is more capable off-road than the Regal, and it offers a new, more powerful turbocharged engine. We prefer the Outback to the Regal with all aspects considered, but the Regal is still worth checking out, especially if you can get a great deal. Edmunds Expert Rating. Performance. The 7th of May 10. How does the Regal Touareg drive? If you're considering the Touareg as an SUV alternative because you want car-like handling with SUV-like cargo space, you're in luck. A lower stance aids this bike's ability to hustle around corners, as does an advanced all-wheel drive system. The trade-off for its minimal off-road ability is controlled and secure handling. In Edmunds testing, our test vehicle covered 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, which is a respectable time. The Touareg comes standard with all-wheel drive and can handle some slippery roads, but it's no substitute for more rugged wagons such as the Subaru Outback or even the smaller Volkswagen Alltrack or Audi A4 Allroad. Leave the dirt trails to the others, the Touareg belongs on pavement. Comfort. The 7th of May 10. How comfortable is the Regal Touareg? Don't think this is the floaty big sedan your grandma drove because it's not. It's smaller and comes with a much more controlled freeway ride. There's nothing harsh about it, though. The ride and handling balance is perfectly matched for its intended use. As for seat comfort, the seat cushions are a bit narrow and best for those with slimmer figures. The shape of the seats themselves is okay, but larger bodies will wish for something wider. On the highway, the car suppresses tire and road noise in classic big fashion, but the factory-issued roof racks contribute more wind noise than you'd expect. It's a small trade-off given the utility of the racks and it's hardly a deal-breaker, but it's slightly out of character for the brand's trademark cabin hush. Interior. The 7th of May 10. How's the interior? The Touareg's clean dash is attractive, but it means that much of the car's secondary control functions are hidden in the touchscreen submenus. There are dedicated buttons for ventilation and basic audio system management, but going deeper than that means using the screen. Getting in and out is easy for front passengers, but rear seat occupants will have to duck to miss the tapering roofline when climbing in. There's decent head and legroom in the front and rear, but the Touareg feels a bit narrow in the seats and armrests. It's not claustrophobic, but it's not as airy as you'd expect for a BIC. Technology. The 7th of May 10. How's the tech? Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard across the Touareg line, and they integrate into either a 7-inch or an 8-inch touchscreen. A Wi-Fi hotspot is also standard. Though the Touareg's tech features aren't lacking, they are operated through GM's now dated interface, which falls short of the speed and resolution of the best systems. Also available is a Bose audio system with a subwoofer mounted in the spare tire well, though we don't think its sound quality is anything special. 3 USB ports, 2 for charging only, are on hand for your devices. The most advanced safety features, forward collision alert, automated emergency braking and more, are offered, but you'll pay more for them, even on the top trim. Storage. The 7th of May 10. How's the storage? With a total of 73.5 cubic feet of maximum cargo space, the Touareg's space exceeds that of wagons such as the Mercedes E-Class and Volvo V60. That's just a bit less space than what you get from crossovers such as the Honda CR-V. There's even enough room for 2 adults to stretch out comfortably in the back with rear seats folded. Up front there's not much space for personal items, and your phone will only store cleanly out of sight in the small center console. There are 2 cup holders, and each door houses a space for a drink bottle. Child seats are easily accommodated in the roomy rear seats, and installing them is simple with readily accessible car seat anchors and top tethers. Fuel economy. 7.0 or 10. How's the fuel economy? The Touareg is rated to deliver 24 miles per gallon in combined city or highway driving. On our 115-mile mixed driving evaluation route, our test Touareg did worse, averaging just 21.3 miles per gallon, which means you will have difficulty matching the EPA's numbers. Value: 8.0 or 10. Is the Regal Tourex a good value? The interior looks and feels solid, with enough soft-touch materials to cushion elbows and knees from plastic panels. Upholstery and trim impart a classy feel, but knobs, switches, and buttons from the GM parts bin undermine the Touarex's premium vibe. Pricing can be a draw, however. The Tourex costs less than its nearest European competitors and about the same as its Subaru Outback rival. Wildcard: 8.0 or 10. The Tourex is a nice reminder of why wagons still matter. Its voluminous space and utility and low center of gravity make it an ideal alternative to the crossover crowd. Which Regal Tourex does Edmunds recommend? Picking a Regal Tourex is pretty easy. Of the 3 available trim levels, the preferred trim makes sense for most people. 2020 BIC Regal Tourex models. Every BIC Tourex is an all-wheel drive wagon powered by a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine, 250 horsepower, 295 pound-foot of torque, driving all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission. 3 trims are available: Base, Preferred and Essence. Base trims come standard with surprisingly few luxury features for a BIC. Manually operated cloth seats, a 7-inch infotainment touchscreen and dual-zone climate controls anchor the interior essentials. Multiple USB ports are included with the standard 7-speaker audio system. A Wi-Fi hotspot is also standard, as are keyless entry and ignition. Moving up to the preferred trim adds a power driver's seat, a leather-wrapped steering wheel and an auto-dimming rear-view mirror. But the main reason to get the preferred is that BIC offers a few option packages you can't get on the base Tourex. These include the driver's confidence package, LED headlights, rear parking assist and rear cross-traffic alert, and the sights and sounds package, 8-inch touchscreen with navigation and a Bose 8-speaker audio system. The Essence trim adds features such as the 8-inch touchscreen, but without navigation, leather upholstery, a power-operated hatch and a heated steering wheel. Plus it offers even more packages. Notably, the Essence is the only way to get the driver's confidence package too, which includes adaptive cruise control and forward collision warning with automatic emergency braking. 2022 BIC Encore. Pros: hushed cabin at highway speeds, maneuverable size, excellent outward visibility. Cons: limited feature availability, small cargo area, unimpressive fuel economy. What's new? Engine upgraded to 155 horsepower from 138 horsepower. Adds front seat back pockets for extra storage. Base 1 SV trim dropped from lineup. Part of the first Encore generation introduced for 2013. Overview. The 2022 BIC Encore is an extra small SUV that slots alongside the Encore GX, a wholly different vehicle reviewed separately, as an entry-level model in BIC's lineup. BIC has been paring down the Encore over the past few years, cutting the number of trims and features available. For 2022, the Encore is now only available in a single trim level, and some features have been removed or added to equipment packages. It's not all about slimming it down. The Encore's engine gets a significant bump in power for 2022, helping alleviate the BIC's sluggish acceleration. The Encore competes in an extremely crowded class, with many automakers, including BIC, offering multiple vehicles around this size and price point. Some of our favorites include the Mazda CX-30, the Hyundai Kona, the Subaru Crosstrek and the Encore GX, all of which we think are better alternatives to the Encore. Despite the bump in power for 2022, the Encore still feels dated and several steps behind the class leaders. Which Encore does Edmunds recommend? For 2022, the Encore is only available in a single trim level, Preferred. We suggest adding both the Safety Package and Safety Package 2 for features including blind spot monitoring and forward collision alert. Even with both packages you won't get Smart Cruise Control, it's still not available on the 2022 BIC Encore. BIC Encore models. All 2022 BIC Encores are powered by a new 1.4-litre turbocharged inline-3 with 155 horsepower, and 177 pound-foot of torque. That's up 17 horsepower and 29 pound-foot of torque over last year's Encore. A 6-speed automatic and front-wheel drive are standard, though the Encore is available with all-wheel drive. Preferred. All 2022 Encores include these standard features: 18-inch wheels, halogen headlights, keyless entry with push-button ignition, leather-wrapped steering wheel, 7-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration, 6-speaker audio system, satellite radio, Wi-Fi hotspot. A handful of options are available for the Encore, including safety package. Blind spot monitor with rear cross-traffic alert, warns you if a vehicle is in your blind spot during a lane change or while in reverse. 120-volt power outlet. Safety package 2. Forward collision warning, alerts you of a possible collision with the car in front. Lane departure warning, alerts you if the vehicle begins to drift out of its lane. Front and rear parking sensors, alert you to obstacles that may not be visible in front of or behind the vehicle when parking. Rain sensing wipers. Moonroof. Remote start. 2022 Bic Encore. Pros. Hushed cabin at highway speeds. Maneuverable size. Excellent outward visibility. Cons. Limited feature availability. Small cargo area. Unimpressive fuel economy. What's new? Engine upgraded to 155 horsepower from 138 horsepower. Adds front seat back pockets for extra storage. Base 1 SV trim dropped from lineup. Part of the first Encore generation introduced for 2013. Overview. The 2022 Bic Encore is an extra-small SUV that slots alongside the Encore GX, a wholly different vehicle reviewed separately, as an entry-level model in Bic's lineup. Bic has been paring down the Encore over the past few years, cutting the number of trims and features available. For 2022, the Encore is now only available in a single trim level, and some features have been removed or added to equipment packages. It's not all about slimming it down. The Encore's engine gets a significant bump in power for 2022, helping alleviate the Bic's sluggish acceleration. The Encore competes in an extremely crowded class, with many automakers, including Bic, offering multiple vehicles around this size and price point. Some of our favorites include the Mazda CX-30, the Hyundai Kona, the Subaru Crosstrek and the Encore GX, all of which we think are better alternatives to the Encore. Despite the bump in power for 2022, the Encore still feels dated and several steps behind the class leaders. Which Encore does Edmunds recommend? For 2022, the Encore is only available in a single trim level, Preferred. We suggest adding both the Safety Package and Safety Package 2 for features including blind spot monitoring and forward collision alert. Even with both packages you won't get Smart Cruise Control, it's still not available on the 2022 Bic Encore. Bic Encore models. All 2022 Bic Encores are powered by a new 1.4-litre turbocharged inline-3 with 155 horsepower, and 177 pound-foot of torque. That's up 17 horsepower and 29 pound-foot of torque over last year's Encore. A 6-speed automatic and front-wheel drive are standard, though the Encore is available with all-wheel drive. Preferred. All 2022 Encores include these standard features: 18-inch wheels, halogen headlights, keyless entry with push-button ignition, leather-wrapped steering wheel, 7-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration, 6-speaker audio system, satellite radio, Wi-Fi hotspot. A handful of options are available for the Encore, including safety package. Blind spot monitor with rear cross-traffic alert, warns you if a vehicle is in your blind spot during a lane change or while in reverse. 120-volt power outlet. Safety package 2. Forward collision warning, alerts you of a possible collision with the car in front. Lane departure warning alerts you if the vehicle begins to drift out of its lane. Front and rear parking sensors alert you to obstacles that may not be visible in front of or behind the vehicle when parking. Rain sensing wipers. Moonroof. Remote start. 2022 Bic Encore. Pros. Hushed cabin at highway speeds. Maneuverable size. Excellent outward visibility. Cons. Limited feature availability. Small cargo area. Unimpressive fuel economy. What's new? Engine upgraded to 155 horsepower from 138 horsepower. Adds front seat back pockets for extra storage. Base 1 SV trim dropped from lineup. Part of the first Encore generation introduced for 2013. Overview. The 2022 Bic Encore is an extra small SUV that slots alongside the Encore GX, a wholly different vehicle reviewed separately, as an entry-level model in Bic's lineup. Bic has been paring down the Encore over the past few years, cutting the number of trims and features available. For 2022, the Encore is now only available in a single trim level, and some features have been removed or added to equipment packages. It's not all about slimming it down. The Encore's engine gets a significant bump in power for 2022, helping alleviate the Bic's sluggish acceleration. The Encore competes in an extremely crowded class, with many automakers, including Bic, offering multiple vehicles around this size and price point. Some of our favorites include the Mazda CX-30, the Hyundai Kona, the Subaru Crosstrek and the Encore GX, all of which we think are better alternatives to the Encore. Despite the bump in power for 2022, the Encore still feels dated and several steps behind the class leaders. Which Encore does Edmunds recommend? For 2022, the Encore is only available in a single trim level, Preferred. We suggest adding both the Safety Package and Safety Package 2 for features including blind spot monitoring and forward collision alert. Even with both packages you won't get Smart Cruise Control, it's still not available on the 2022 Bic Encore. Bic Encore models. All 2022 Bic Encores are powered by a new 1.4-litre turbocharged inline-3 with 155 horsepower, and 177 pound-foot of torque. That's up 17 horsepower and 29 pound-foot of torque over last year's Encore. A 6-speed automatic and front-wheel drive are standard, though the Encore is available with all-wheel drive. Preferred. All 2022 Encores include these standard features. 18-inch wheels. Halogen headlights. Keyless entry with push-button ignition. Leather-wrapped steering wheel. 7-inch touchscreen. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration. 6-speaker audio system. Satellite radio. Wi-Fi hotspot. A handful of options are available for the Encore, including Safety Package. Blind spot monitor with rear cross-traffic alert, warns you if a vehicle is in your blind spot during a lane change or while in reverse. 120-volt power outlet. Safety Package 2. Forward collision warning, alerts you of a possible collision with the car in front. Lane departure warning, alerts you if the vehicle begins to drift out of its lane. Front and rear parking sensors, alert you to obstacles that may not be visible in front of or behind the vehicle when parking. Rain sensing wipers. Moonroof. Remote start. 2019 Bic Lacrosse Review. The 2019 Bic Lacrosse carries over the significant changes that took place back in 2017, and a powertrain update in 2018, as part of the brand's plan to reinvigorate and claw back to its position in the luxury segment. And we like what we're seeing. Rather than a hyper-stylized version of a coupe or a sports sedan that does neither very well, Bic has rightly chosen to make a comfortable, efficient and traditional car. The interior is roomy and comfortable, and the seats feature a wide range of adjustability that is perfect for long stints. Bic's easy-to-use touchscreen infotainment system is compatible with both Apple and Android products to help melt away the miles. The standard e-assist powertrain features a mild hybrid system, a small electric motor paired to the 4-cylinder engine that allows for unobtrusive stop-starts, and a little nudge to help get the car off the line. The larger V6 engine, standard in the new Sport Touring model, provides smooth power at the expense of the e-assist's economy. While all models come as front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive is available in the top trim models. Power and handling aren't the Lacrosse's forte. The heavy sedan drives well enough going straight down the road and has good steering feel, but any dynamic maneuvers will leave the tires squealing in most trim levels. Ride quality and noise are also surprisingly disappointing. Things improve considerably with the dynamic drive package, but that's only available on the priciest trim levels. Still, there's no denying that some buyers don't want to get beat up with stiff suspension and confusingly complex technology. For them, the Bic Lacrosse should be appealing. Otherwise, this big Bic leaves a lot to be desired relative to its competitors. Edmunds Expert Rating 6.3/10. The Lacrosse falls short of top-tier mainstream sedans, providing less in the way of performance and luxury than we'd expect, and the e-assist system feels like a missed opportunity. In straddling price points, the Lacrosse has compromised in too many places to be a competitive luxury alternative. Trim tested. Each vehicle typically comes in multiple versions that are fundamentally similar. The ratings in this review are based on our full test of the Bic Lacrosse Premium e-assist 2.5L inline for 6-speed automatic FWD. Driving 6.0. The Lacrosse with e-assist is a thoroughly unhurried car. Shifts are smooth, and the steering has good on-center feel, making for an easy freeway cruiser. But the mild hybrid engine feels overtaxed, and the body wallows through corners while its tires protest at even moderate requests for performance. Acceleration 5.0. The Lacrosse accelerates smoothly, but the relaxed throttle requires deliberate input to find a hint of urgency. When the engine is pressed, it sounds strained. Passing maneuvers require lots of room. Our tested 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 8.3 seconds is slow for the class. Optional V6 is much more competitive. Braking 8.0. The pedal effort is linear, if a bit soft, and braking force is easy to regulate. There's no noticeable regenerative action, making for very smooth stops. We measured a panic stop distance from 60 miles per hour of 119 feet, which is good for a car like this, and the car is stable under hard braking. Steering 6.5. The on-center feel is very good, making freeway driving easy, and steering resistance builds through turns, going from very light to surprisingly heavy. However, there's no sense of what the front wheels are doing, and what feel there is seems rubbery and artificial. Handling 5.0. The Lacrosse does fine in low-speed turns, but when pushed even a little it feels unsettled. The suspension never seems to settle fully, leading to wallowing body motion. The tires begin protesting audibly at even relatively low speeds. In short, the Lacrosse fails to inspire confidence. Drivability 7.0. The no-defeat stop-start system is mostly unobtrusive. Shifts are generally smooth, except for the occasional harsh shift at low speed. Using the shift paddles results in unhurried responses. The Lacrosse is mostly inoffensive, but it feels large and heavy on the road. Comfort 7.0. We'd hope for quiet and plush from the Big Bic to match its relaxed driving characteristics. The seats are certainly a comfortable place to spend time. But the ride is busy, and there's disappointingly elevated noise at freeway speeds. Less expensive cars offer similar levels of refinement. Seat comfort 8.0. The seats balance support and padding nicely, and strong heating and cooling help make these all-day comfortable. The seat cushion is a bit narrow, but since the bolsters are very flat, this won't impact comfort for most drivers. Of course, the seat does little to hold you in place. Ride comfort 6.5. The suspension manages to smooth the edges off bumps. But there's pronounced bounce over larger bumps, and smaller imperfections make the car feel heavy-footed and jiggly. There's more going on than we expect from a car in this class, and it hurts the Lacrosse's luxury aspirations. Noise and vibration 6.5. The windows do an excellent job of filtering out the sound of surrounding traffic, but there's lots of road noise over bumps and at freeway speeds. At speed, there's also excessive wind and tire noise, as well as extra engine noise when going up inclines. Climate control. 7.0. The dual-zone system works well left to its own devices, and the seat heaters and coolers are quite strong. However, only a few basic controls are button-based. Full manual control requires interacting with the touch screen, which may be an annoyance for some. Interior. 7.0. The interior aims for a midpoint between luxury and mainstream cars. But there's a lot of obvious plastic, and the interior space isn't as open or roomy as what rivals offer. The limited physical controls are easy to find and use, but many features require interacting with the touch screen. Ease of use. 6.5. The steering wheel mounted controls are easy to use, but with only a handful of buttons in the cabin, many controls require the touch screen. While the system is straightforward, the busy ride can make tapping smaller virtual buttons hit or miss. Some may find the screen a bit of a reach, too. Getting in and getting out. 7.5. The front openings are large and square, although the high bottom sill creates a step over. Ample rear legroom makes stepping in easy, except in tight parking spaces where the longer rear doors can't open far enough. Adult passengers will have to duck under the raked roofline in the rear. Driving position. 7.5. The armrests on both sides of the driver are high enough to be usable, making you feel ensconced in the car and more comfortable on longer drives. The seat offers plenty of adjustability for drivers of different sizes. Some center stack controls can be a reach for long-legged drivers. Roominess. 7.0. The high, wide center console takes up a lot of space, impinging on knee room and making the front feel smaller than it is. The rear seat offers plenty of legroom, but headroom is compromised for adults over average height. Overall, it's less room than other full-size luxury cars. Visibility. 5.5. The rear window is short, partially obscuring the view and making the rear view camera a necessity. Thick front and side pillars create blind spots, and the small side view mirrors don't help much without blind spot monitoring. The rearmost side window helps over-the-shoulder visibility. Quality. 5.5. The LaCrosse's interior has a lot of obvious plastics. Most have a soft touch coating, but it's still a lot of plastic surface area. The wood trim and seat leather also feel a bit plasticky. We had issues with a non-functioning head-up display. Utility. 6.0. The big surprise is the limited amount of usable trunk space, due to a number of intrusions that leave only a relatively small square of flat flooring. There's a decent amount of space for small items in the cabin thanks to a lateral pass-through under the center console. Small item storage. 7.0. The shelf that occupies a pass-through under the center console offers a decent amount of storage space. The center console box is relatively small, as is the glove box. The door pockets can hold regular water bottles but not much more, and the seat back pockets are comically small. Cargo space. 5.0. At 14.3 cubic feet, there's surprisingly little usable trunk space for this segment. Flimsy wheel well coverings impinge on the sides, and the e-assist battery creates a rise in the trunk. The 60/40 split folding seats help for longer items, but bulky items will be a struggle. Child safety seat accommodation. 6.5. There are clearly marked latch anchors. But the bottom anchors are recessed in the seat cushions and not very accessible, though the top anchors are easy to access. There's enough rear seat room to accommodate even bulky seats. Technology. 7.5. General Motors technologies are fully deployed in the LaCrosse, although many driver aids and active safety features are optional. They compare favorably against mainstream cars but are outclassed when stacked up against offerings from luxury manufacturers. Audio and navigation. 7.5. The Bose audio system doesn't provide anything exceptional, but GM's navigation system is as strong as ever. It's easy to use and it supports plenty of voice commands that work well. That said, when stacked up against those in luxury rivals, the system feels outdated and outclassed. Smartphone integration. 8.0. Bluetooth pairing is straightforward to accomplish, and both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto work smoothly. The wireless charging pocket in the center console is a tight fit for large phones or phones in cases, but it provides easy access. The car will notify you of messages and read them aloud. Driver aids. 7.0. Only a few active safety features are standard, even on higher trims. Adaptive cruise works smoothly, albeit a bit conservatively. Lane keeping assist tends to overcorrect so the car ping-pongs between lane markers. It's not always easy to figure out what will set off the vibrating safety alert seat. Voice control. 7.0. Prompts are helpfully displayed on the touch screen, but there isn't as much functionality as with some competitive systems, especially in the luxury market, and phrasing has to be precise. The navigation system responds well to voice input and isn't overly prone to misunderstanding. Which Lacrosse does Edmunds recommend? If you can live with black or white paint and the e-assist engine's unremarkable power, the base Model 1 SV actually comes with an abundance of appealing equipment. But this is more of a rental fleet special. Otherwise, look to the Essence since it adds several desirable extras such as heated leather seats while also offering the strong V6 engine. If you're okay with a higher sticker price, getting the dynamic drive package results in the best Lacrosse to drive. 2019 BIC Lacrosse models. The 2019 BIC Lacrosse is available in Base 1 SV, Preferred, Essence, Sport Touring, Premium, and Arvani trim levels. All except the Sport Touring and Arvani come standard with a mild hybrid powertrain known as e-Assist that features a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder, a 6-speed automatic, and a small electric motor that together produce 194 horsepower and 187 pound-feet of torque, a 3.6-litre V6, 310 horsepower, 268 pound-foot, paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission is standard on the Arvani and Sport Touring, and optional for the Preferred, Essence and Premium. Front-wheel drive is standard, while the Essence, Premium and Arvani can be fitted with all-wheel drive, V6 only. The Base 1 SV comes standard with 18-inch wheels, automatic xenon headlights, fog lights, heated mirrors, rear parking sensors, a rear-view camera, keyless ignition and entry, remote ignition, dual-zone automatic climate control, simulated leather upholstery, 8-way power-adjustable front seats, with 2-way driver lumbar adjustment, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, OnStar emergency communications, a 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, an 8-speaker sound system, satellite radio, and the BIC IntelliLink infotainment interface that includes an 8-inch touchscreen, 2 USB ports, Bluetooth connectivity, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration. It is available only in black or white exterior paint. The Preferred adds a power-adjustable steering wheel, a cargo net and more paint choices. The Essence trim adds different exterior trim, 19-inch wheels, adaptive headlights, driver-side auto-dimming mirrors, heated front seats, leather upholstery, driver memory settings and wireless smartphone charging. The Sport Touring only differs with its special exterior trim. Optional on both is the Driver Confidence Eye package that adds blind spot and rear cross-traffic alert systems. The Premium trim includes the Driver Confidence Eye items and adds forward collision warning, a head-up display, lane keeping assist, the Safety Alert driver seat, buzzes to get your attention to various safety warning systems, an ionizing air cleaner, a 110-volt household-style power outlet, a heated steering wheel, and ventilated front seats with massage and 4-way lumbar adjustment. The Sport Touring, Essence and Premium can be bolstered with a couple of option packages. The Sun and Shade package has a panoramic sunroof and a power rear sunshade. The Sights and Sounds package adds a navigation system to IntelliLink, an 11-speaker Bose surround sound audio system and HD radio. The Arvani comes with 19-inch wheels, a revised front fascia, upgraded leather upholstery, special floor mats, and the contents of both packages listed above. Optional for the Essence, Premium and Arvani models is the Dynamic Drive package, which equips the La Crosse with 20-inch wheels, adaptive suspension dampers and, for front-wheel drive models, an upgraded front suspension design. You can also specify the Driver Confidence 2 package for the Premium and Arvani trims, which adds adaptive cruise control, forward automatic emergency braking that detects vehicles and pedestrians, and an automatic parking system.